Hi, Marissa. It's Ashley here. Thank you for sharing your discussion. Um, I always say that when in the beginning, when I'm starting a response. Thank you for sharing. I need to stop saying that because it's a requirement for us to share. I don't know. Okay, so in your response, you had mentioned that you did actually what I did. I interviewed two counselors in elementary and I interviewed another one in middle school just because I wanted to see the difference in their responses. One, and then two, I do plan to go to middle school in the far future from now. And when my son is in middle school, I'm gonna follow him and go to middle school. But once he goes to high school, I'll probably just stay in middle school. Um, so the similarities that elementary and middle school counselors had um, was working on responsive services, time addressing immediate student needs. This is actually something that my counselor had said too, that during the day the students um, are priority and parent meetings are priority, and then once the students leave, the priority is getting all the paperwork done that you need to catch up on, or like for example like making a CPS call, turning in paperwork that needs to be done for referrals and things like that, or even planning emails, because you're part of the admin and they may have you doing non-counseling duties, um, like creating agendas um, for like little celebrations within your campus. Okay, the next part is that the counselors had also said that um, supporting academic and social emotional needs was their priority. Was one of their main roles. And that another similarity was the collaborations that the school counselors in the middle school and high school had, which were the teachers, the parents, the special ed staff, and admin, which I've seen the counselor in my school. She's worked with us several times. Okay, and then the next part here, you had mentioned that another thing that was similar between all of them was that they implemented their own counseling program, and then all of them used data from different areas. For example, attendance, referrals, behaviors from district um, info. Um, and then, which over here in my campus, in mine that I interviewed, they all said that they used the counseling program that the district had created because they have curriculum writers who worked on it in the summer, and then they follow it throughout the year. Excuse me. And then, okay, the difference in the counselors you had interviewed was that the middle school counselor focused more on individual planning compared to the elementary counselors, which I see this is true too, because in reality in elementary, the school counselors don't really meet with students on their schedule. It's kind of just, they usually have the same teacher unless they're like in upper grades, like in fifth grade, where they just start to rotate and they're departmentalized. Then that's something else. But even then, they don't really work with students to do that. They kind of just already set that up from the year before. Um, the teachers usually do that, and then the admin just kind of, or the front office kind of just like categorizes or sorts them into their appropriate class. But yeah, over here in the, you had said that the middle school focused more on the individual planning for eighth grade students, because they are transitioning. So they are going from 8th grade from middle school to high school from 8th to 9th. And this is where it starts to get more individual planning of the students. Okay, and then the last part here, you had actually said something similar to Becca, where one counselor pulled more into an administrator role because of all the hats they have to carry and all the workload that is being left there that someone needs to pick up. And then the other one was one of the other counselors that you interviewed only sticks to counseling duties. And I would love to work at that district that has that. Okay, so I'll go ahead and stop here, Marissa, and thank you for sharing, and I'll see you next time.